Hopefully the screen will switch over. There we go. Cool, exciting stuff. Sorry, it's just like for this type of event, it's a scramble. It's basically a scramble before you're gonna cast an event like this. Got notified about 3 hours ago, 3.5 hours ago or so, and then yeah, it was just like, yeah, you want to cast this? I'm just like, yeah, sure. I'm just not gonna get any sleep whatsoever at all. But it's okay because it is Hyun and White Raw starting over here, guys, on Ukirk District. Down at the bottom left side in the blue trunks, it is going to be the former TSL player. Now under the Quantic tag, it is Hyun. So again, Hyun being a really, really strong Zerg. Player that actually did not start playing StarCraft 2 until about November 2011, so barely over a year of StarCraft 2 experience. Basically came into the scene and started just completely destroying everybody, and about a year later happened to find himself at the grand finals of the GSL. I was actually there in person to see him, so very, very neat, and hopefully again all the best of success to him, and even best of luck today against his opponent over here in the red trunks, going to be the Protoss player. It is, everybody knows, everybody loves him, it is White Raw. Woo! Yeah. And of course, White Raw are absolutely awesome, generous, lovely, funny, foreign, basically our StarCraft 2 ambassador. Really putting a lot of focus on Heart of the Swarm, as we've seen throughout the past year or so. Not exactly a lot of StarCraft 2 events in regards to Wings of Liberty. He's been doing a lot of traveling in regards to doing show matches, doing some stuff for TT Esports. Not a lot of big time tournaments from what we've exactly seen comparatively to 2010, 2011. Even a little bit of 2012, but it looks like with the amount of Heart of the Swarm that he's been playing, practicing, and show matches that he's done, it looks like White Raw is going to be back and ready and set. And it looks like he's just going to open up with potentially a Nexus first. He's already on the other side checking with the probe. Unfortunately, Hyun grabbing his hatch just in time, or at least tricking White Raw, getting him out of the way before he was able to get a pylon block or whatever he might have wanted to do. So again, that's just going to initiate White Raw right now. He's going to go for the Nexus first, put down the Forge, going to put down the gate, etc., etc. So Forge, fast expand. Nothing really too crazy, nothing too out of the ordinary. Again, with this map, it is a little bit of a wider ramp than you might typically expect or be used to, but it is manageable, and especially with the cybernetics core, that's more than enough to get a nice little wall off there to put in place. But for those that are tuning in, again, thank you guys for the support. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's just not. It's kind of funny. With Heart of the Swarm, I was actually not really expecting to broadcast really any Heart of the Swarm series content until probably after release. But today's kind of one of those opportunities where I was talking to Olsi, who's the Russian streamer for sc2tv.ru, the main guy. And he was like, "Hey, you want to cast this?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" You know. And then I realized after that, I'm just like, "Oh crap, I'm getting thrown into." I'm throwing myself into the deep end of the casting pool. I'm just like, I have not casted any HOTS content just yet, so this should be actually a little bit of a fun test to see how I do and how my SC2 HOTS knowledge is. And there we go. Finally, the cybernetics core going down for White Raw. One link does get in. Wow, barely with. Like barely, I was about to say barely with any health, and literally with 1 HP gets on in there. Shouldn't be really too much of a problem. Again, with that much health, again, one zap from the probe, it should be more than enough to deal with. And good job, just again being as annoying as possible, distracting the probe. Again, already with this one link in there, it's distracting this one probe from getting mining time. So every little thing affected. Again, it's a little a little picky, but still, regardless, it's kind of one of those things that can be really annoying to deal with. For now, it's nothing really too much that Alexei has to worry about, otherwise known as White Raw. If we take a look at some of the recent stuff that he's done, probably in the past couple months. Again, he's played a couple of show matches versus Idra, where I think he won. I think he 3-0'd him, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Or I think it was one was a best of 3, one was a best of 7. So need to double check that. Score didn't exactly see. I know you played Red in an NASL show match where he won 3-0. He's played against Amaga in show matches. He's had various show matches against Grubby, Killer, and Strelak, actually down in Brazil. In the round of 16 at the Velocicast Invitational in regards to Wings of Liberty, he lost to Cloud in round of 16, 1-2, and just played in the NASL at Caster Bash, which was pretty damn hilarious, especially especially watching Frodan just get completely mannered up with that pylon. If you guys saw it, you guys can YouTube it or Reddit it or whatever you guys need to do. It's pretty hilarious watching his White Rust spells out NASL in the middle of the map. Poor Frodan couldn't do anything about the huge Sky Toss army. And again, I think that's probably what we're going to see a majority of today. If it could get into mid to late game, almost 100% guaranteed that White Raw will pull out his special tactics, his special Sky tactics, and we'll have to really put a close attention to that. Now, setting a Stalker cross is for whatever reason chasing these slow lengths. Not really going to be too worth it. And look at Alexei, man, getting a little bit ballsy right now. White Rock really going right now for the quick third right now by 7.5 minutes, 7:45, about 7 3/4, I guess if you want to call it. Getting really ballsy, and the Lings are going to be able to scout that out. Of course, with the Mothership Core, it allows for that extra ground DPS as we see pushing those Lings back. Another Stalker does come out, and as already we see the Stargate with the first Oracle out, the second Stargate already getting built, and I really love this, man. This is just kind of one of those things when you play on ladder. You don't get to see White Raw, somebody who's been working on Heart of the Swarm. He's been able to really kind of work out some of his timings, some of his build orders, and something as such as this could really be that dangerous. And of course, Oracle being a very, very strong unit right now, Heart of the Swarm. Let's watch as that 25 DPS gets on in there, but he's got to be a little bit careful. There's a couple queens here, so if he controls this properly, he should be okay. Oh my god, Hyun, beautiful job actually. And yeah, this is actually probably going to force him to get back in. Indeed, it might. He's still going to at least zap one drone down, but he's got to be very careful. It takes another one down as well. But I think with the queens, yes, more than just enough to push it back. All 4 queens in the back of the main base. But again, only 2 drones killed. That's substantially a lot better than what could have happened. As we take a look and see, the 4th and 5th hatch are getting taken by Hyun at the moment. I like this double expand. Again, as he knows Alexei really can't put too much pressure on him as he's grabbed his really early third, so might as well work on the macro end of the game that's going to allow him with the extra hatcheries to have extra larvae to be able to produce more units. It's going to allow him for more gas also capabilities, having those. What would that be? That would be the 7th and 8th and 9th and 10th gases, I guess, overall. So to get those late game units as well as the Hydras to counter the Sky Toss. And that's kind of something we've seen with Heart of the Swarm. We've seen so much more Zerg Hydra compositions coming out because, again, the Sky Toss, no, it's almost like no shit. It's almost like no shit. You're going to need a little bit of Hydra support to be able to handle all the Sky Toss army. And depending on if Hyun hits a really nice timing in regards to production and gets a good position in an engagement, we've actually seen Hydras have a lot of success as long as it could be a little bit kept safe or have a little bit of a shield like roaches on the ground and be able to focus down some of the anti-air. If he hits a really nice timing, he might be able to take this down. But the main key and factor is just that fact that as long as he doesn't let the Sky Toss army get out of hand, again, once White Raw we've seen from time to time as he's adding a 3rd and 4th Stargate, once he gets all those Corruptors out with all the Interceptors formed, that's just kind of one of those unbreakable armies. And I can't remember who said it. I think it was MC. No, it wasn't MC. It was actually some Zerg from the ESF that was just like, if you get past 20 minutes against a Protoss, you're pretty much losing against them. They're kind of like the new Zerg, but it's Protoss now, so with the late game. Phoenixes will get taken out for free, unfortunately. Could have had a little bit more utilization out of them. We're only able to kill a couple units, but at this point, I really like what Hyun is doing. He's actually hitting a nice little timing with the Ling Hydras, trying to push on through. Again, he has to know that White Raw does not have a lot of units, but there are quite a few cannons down on the field. So again, those are getting really focused down by the Lings, so the Hydras have kind of free reign. Now, Mothership Core going down, puts down that little green glob, that orb. That's going to slow down Hyun for the moment being, but already quite a bit of damage getting done. Now some of the Lings getting in within the mineral line, and at this point Hyun's very satisfied with what he's done. He's just going to back up. Killed the Mothership Core, killed all the cannons out of the way. Again, didn't really do too much significant damage but again, that forces the White Raw to put up more cannons. It forces him to kind of hurry up and get more units out. It doesn't really allow him to get really too comfortable overall. Now, as we guys see, Protoss Air getting about 3/4 of the way done. Of course, that's going to help out with the armor. I'm just really worried right now. White Rod, what are you doing? He's actually moving out right now. Has to be very careful right now. Like I said, it's just kind of one of those things where the Protoss player has to be very patient, get your units out first, then move out. It's a little unfortunate because it kind of makes a little bit of, I don't want to say a stale metagame, but in regards to like action, you're not going to see it a lot. You're basically going to watch as White Rod maxes out 200 with corruptors. Not corruptors. Oh my god. See, this is what happens when you sleep for like 3 hours. He's going to max out with carriers, mothership core, and whatever else he feels fit, and looks like he's going to keep adding additional void rays as well, which of course with the overcharge ability is so freaking strong. Now on the backside over here, I do kind of like this with on the mobility end of the game. Hyun is going mutas, which he's adding 7 more. In retrospect, I don't like this overall because again, the composition for Alexei is going to be a little bit too strong with the carriers, but to be able to have that extra mobility, to be able to do what he's going to do now, that's pretty damn nice because again, as we see, there's no cannons really at the back of the main or the natural over here, and a lot of harassment is already getting done. Take a look at the kill count for workers, and as we see, Hyun already taken down 19, and basically he's grabbed almost every base that he possibly could on this map that's not been taken yet aside of this middle base, and this is kind of really key because I don't think Alexei's really going to be too worried about grabbing a 4th just yet over here on this side of the map. As we see down here at the bottom left, he's doing that already. And oh no, the mutas, Hyun, no! Oh, gotta get back. Cannot lose those. That'll be just completely devastating if you lose those. And I mean, again, like I said, what we're watching is basically White Rod just max out. He's gonna wait until he gets that 200 Sky Toss army, and mobility aside, he's just gonna have to bounce back and forth, defend this muta harass until he feels comfortable enough to be able to handle this. At this point, this could be this is one of those things where Phoenixes could be really good, and oh, this is actually really neat because he's gonna sandwich this Kaiser army, and oh my god, so many of these units getting taken out. The interceptors are doing such a wonderful job. So many of Hyun's mutas have been taken out, and this is kind of what I'm worried about. I'm like, Hyun, I hope he's really focusing right now on trying to get, yeah, there we go, he's getting in the second spire, getting an upgrade, getting corruptors out, because he's going to really need a massive amount of units to be able to deal with this, because again, with this amount of interceptors and carriers, this is going to be very tough to deal with. And now with Alexei sitting at 4 bases, he's got all I think, yep, all 8 of the gas is saturated, so he's got more than enough gas to be able to produce a lot of Sky Toss, and as we see, he's getting really close to that borderline 200 supply, 187 out of 200. Hyun, meanwhile, on the backside, basically can max out, there we go, yeah, I'm like, basically can max out whatever he wants. He's got all the hatcheries across the map. He's actually getting a lot of his extractors, so at least at this point he's just banking on the fact that he's going to need a lot of gas to deal with all of this. And look at this army composition. Like, when the hell would we actually see this in Wings of Liberty? We wouldn't. Hydra Muta Corruptor. This is kind of one of those unique compositions that we don't see a lot, but definitely almost pretty much necessary to deal with, or needed to deal with, in regards to a good counter for this type of army of the Protoss. Now over here on the backside down at the 4th base, the Corruptors are just kind of lingering around, soaking up some of the damage. The Mutas are taking out the cannons, but again, a lot of defense, a lot of free units, and of course that's going to draw the army back to the side of the map. I don't think Alexei, let's take a look at the vision. I don't think he scouted out. No, he just finally saw that hatchery right there. I don't think he's seen the other 4th at the moment. Yeah, he hasn't seen the other 4th at the moment. He's going to be able to need to pull probes or a couple zealots. There we go, warp engines to be able to deal with that. The last Hydra gets picked off over there. He just needs to resaturate. Overall, solid defense actually by Alexei right there. Didn't have too much damage done to him. As we take a look and see, he basically went from 18 to 32. But again, in regards to supply, he doesn't really need that many workers anymore. He's already got his maxed out army. He's now starting to get his 2 attack, if I'm not mistaken. There, oh, actually 3 attack. Getting his 3 attack, and oh my god, here comes all the Corruptors going in against Alexei's army. Are they going to be able to have a little bit of success? It doesn't look like it's going to be the case. He's going to be forced back. Good job actually corrupting all of those units and attempting that, but again with Alexei, that's just way too much Sky Toss. And now what I'm worried about, this is kind of one of those snowball compositions. We're hitting that late 20-minute mark. He's getting his charge upgrade, he's getting his 1 armor, he's getting storm, so of course he's going to be able to storm these units on top of on top of all the Protoss harass. Plus he's got the Stalkers, and oh, be careful, Hyun! Be careful, Hyun! Just so worried about him, and oh my god, I think he's just gonna probably lose almost all these Corruptors if he decides to engage, and the Archon doing a wonderful job zapping a lot of these units down. At the moment, again, with the Corruptors not being able to attack ground, they're basically almost worthless unless they could really focus down this whole entire army, and here they go, trying to sandwich everything behind the backside. A second pack of Corruptors right over here. Not too bad of a deal. Look at this. Good job focusing down one of the carriers. Second one goes down. Third one is just about done, but there are some Void Rays sandwiching them. Some of the Interceptors are taking out additional units. Doing a wonderful job with that overcharge ability. I love that, man. The prismatic alignment, basically, yeah, for 20 seconds just allows them to have charge again, and that's crazy. Look at him just ripping through the hatchery, and White Raw pushing on in. 195 supply to 132. More carriers getting built on the backside. I still don't think he's actually realized about this hatchery just completely yet until he saw the creep. And Alexei's kind of lingering right now at the moment. He needs to push in and finish this game off, go into the natural kill off the Spire, because that's going to prevent any additional Corruptors from being made, versus actually waiting to take out all these additional hatcheries. By doing so, that's going to allow Hyun maybe to remax or something in that regards. 12 Infestors are in production, so you know it could be a slight potential where if he gets a nice, really nice chain fungal, it could really help out. But again, with the new Infestor, it has become a little bit harder for Zergs to deal with the Protoss in regards to basically anything. So we'll see how he's going to be able to deal with that. Now as we take a look and see, fourth down here at the bottom is getting focused down. Finally, photon cannons are taking out the gas as well. Alexei could probably just honestly build a couple Zalts and hack away at all of these bases with no problems. And Alexei is being really patient right now. Again, this is going to be a best of 9 in which he could really just go kill him, and we wouldn't really be at loss for any content. But like I said, it's just kind of one of those things. You don't want to put yourself in a dangerous position. Sometimes you want to have that Artosis theory where once ahead, stay ahead, but you know, White Rush should just probably, once he's ahead, he should probably just go kill him, man. He just go kill him. Unless he's going to be really funny, and at that point, at least like with the pylons, you know. At least with the pylons, like type out sc2tv.ru or place for pro or something like that. That'd be too much fun. Well, here we go. A lot of Infestors Hydras are on the ground with a couple of Roaches. I don't see if there's any more additional Corruptors. It doesn't look like Corruptors are going to be involved in this at all. Are they even in the game anymore? And it looks like they are not, so all the Corruptors eventually did get cleared out, but a lot of Infestors here are in place. As long as Alexei controls this a little bit carefully, he should be fine. Good little spit of a fungal, and I think he's just going to try to attempt to chain this as best as he possibly can, but again, to be able to get close enough to be able to keep throwing those down, that's just going to be very, very tough for him. Still quite a few fungals still available to Hyun, but again, he's kind of a little bit at a disadvantage. There's no clean way for him to engage without a lot of the Interceptors getting hit. Without getting hit by the Interceptors and all the additional units, as we see. And at this point, White Raw has a significant lead. I just don't know exactly how Hyun has the potential to come back. He's already going to try to focus it down with the Hydras, but again, there's just so many Interceptors already in place. And look at that, man, with the Storms in combination. He could even feed back all these Infestors as well. Kind of not doing that. There we go, finally at the very end. But like I said, just way too much Protoss, way too much White Raw, way too much Sky Toss, and now Hyun's economy is completely bled out and crippled. He's sitting on a total of 5 hatches, but not even mining from the third location. This location was kind of knocked down for the most part up until now, so he hasn't been really able to mine consistently. And at this point, White Raw is going to just kind of head his way into a win. Not a lot that could really stop him at this point. I mean, as long as he just plays efficient, plays patient, doesn't allow Hyun to get any additional hatches, clear some of the rest of the stuff out, he should be okay. Now this was kind of a little bit cute from Hyun, saving some of the drones, getting them burrowed. That might force an observer out, so additional supply getting taken by White Raw. Something that is not an attacking unit, but that's not too big of a deal, guys. That's not too big of a deal. As we see Alexei sitting with a very healthy economy. He's got, I mean, almost 4K minerals. He's got about almost 1K gas, so he's going to be able to remax, resupply. I really like actually Hyun's fungals that he's throwing down. Again, they're a little bit ineffective as they were in Wings of Liberty, but overall you're seeing he's anticipating really well with that toss. He's catching a lot of those units, which is really fun to watch, but unfortunately there's just way too much armor on them, way too much shields, and that's going to wrap it up for game number 1. Alexei taking it with beautiful Sky Toss style.